So remember this guy? Blizzard built an entire full-blown cinematic around him with this duel, teasing his massive role in the Shadowlands, and then 3 expansions later he never showed up anywhere without any sign of him. Well, in 11.2.7 that was just released, we finally discovered this guy. In the big Sylvanas questline where she confirms the Shadowlands are fake, we see some familiar souls, and we also see him creeping in the background in his fully alive form. He's not a spirit like the other souls, so the question is, why is he alive? What does Blizzard plan to do with Nathanos? Let's look at the fully released Sylvanas questline and what is actually going on with this guy. Warhammer, Red Dead Redemption, WoW Game Time, Destiny, you can get all of this at amazing prices with my link in the description below. You also got mobile top-ups, software, a bunch more with the best prices on the market. Better yet, if you use my code DORON, you will get another discount on top, so click my link in the description and get the best deals ever at Gamivo. So by now you might have already seen the return of Sylvanas. That is not really news because we've data mined this and I've talked about this really for months now. This return of Sylvanas is actually a really big deal, not because of her character but because of what she revealed in this new questline. So we're talking about 11.2.7, which came out a few days back, and you've seen the questline, you've seen the cinematic. This is essentially the pre-patch for the Midnight pre-patch where we revisit Sylvanas to see what she is doing. The biggest thing though is obviously the setup for her to return at some point. By the end, she essentially says that she hopes to return to the world of the living one day, which kind of confirms it won't happen early in Midnight. And keep in mind, despite the fact that she is undead, Sylvanas is not actually dead. I mean, she just teleported into the Shadowlands like we did. Furthermore, the biggest reveal that we got from this questline is that Blizzard had essentially retconned the Shadowlands, like vaguely retconned the Shadowlands with this questline. Sylvanas confirmed to us that the Shadowlands thing is really just a BS illusion. Like, she looked outside of the realm of depth and she saw the true, like the real afterlife, and it was not the Shadowlands. And she told us the Shadowlands are way too ordered and neat. It's not what an afterlife should look like, and this actually makes complete sense. It's even connected to our old theory that the Titans somehow had a play in creating the Shadowlands themselves, and with the fact that the Titans will be very important in the last Titan and we'll be wrapping up the saga, I think that this is now more likely than ever. Even back in Shadowlands, we've had some hints that Primus, for example, made a pact with one of the Titans where he got his titanic powers from them, but we never learned what the other part was. Well, the likely possibility is that the Titan part of the deal was the entire creation of this artificial realm that keeps mortal souls trapped. It really appears that the Titans had created a faked, brainwashed existence on Azeroth and multiple planets, as well as the afterlife. So when we data mine this questline, this was the big reveal that Blizzard is very likely looking to connect the Shadowlands to the Titans, and it's very likely retconning the fact that the Jailer and everyone else were like the center of the universe. Now, with the patch out, we actually can see everything ourselves. We got this very weird character that I can't really explain yet. So I've talked about this for at least 5 years. I got like 5 different videos on my channel. And what is even going on with Nathanos? It was really the biggest plot hole that Blizzard made. This guy was like the right hand of Sylvanas, and Blizzard literally built an entire full-scale cinematic. So not an in-game quick one, but a legit duel between him and Tyrande, where he taunts her and says he's going to meet Sylvanas anyway, like it doesn't matter that we defeat him. Then Shadowlands happens, Shadowlands ends, 2 expansions later, he's literally nowhere to be found. It really seemed like Blizzard had no idea why they even built that cinematic in the first place. Well, finally, exactly 2 expansions later and into the 3rd one, this guy finally makes his return. So during the questline into the mall, people actually saw him in the background, but before, people were thinking like this is a PTR thing, but seeing that it made it to live, it's obviously not a mistake. I mean, they released this thing. It's very strange though. I mean, during our questline where we're talking with Sylvanas, this dude is literally hiding behind a rock and can barely even be seen. I mean, he's not actually a part of the questline. He has no dialogue, no involvement in the quest, and he's literally just like a silent observer just creeping on Sylvanas. What makes this even weirder are a few things. So During the questline, we see Sylvanas talking about how she's saving souls and pushing them forward, and she even runs into some various souls like Thomas Zealing that you guys might remember from BFA. This is the guy that betrayed her because he didn't like what she was doing to Derek Proudmore, and Sylvanas punished him for it. In this questline he appears, he doesn't actually want to be saved by her. Then we get this familiar soul, which many people thought was Nathanos because it's an actual soul, and Sylvanas says a silent one. He follows me and then departs only to return later again. However, this doesn't make any sense because the guy is literally right behind her. Now, we do have one big problem here though. Nathanos Blightcaller is actually alive here. The big thing in the Shadowlands is that you can see, like we know with these characters that died in the past, we can see that they're just souls, energy floating around, or they can be actually kind of manifested in realms like Revendred. But here in the mall, where these souls got stuck when the Machine of Death broke, they were just simple spirits, like bundles of energy. Nathanos himself is definitely gone because we could see in that cinematic when Tyrande defeated him. However, for some reason, he is here in his complete, like, mortal form. When you see mortal form, you know that this person is alive. I mean, they could just teleport it into the Shadowlands. This is the case with Sylvanas herself. This is the case with Renari. This is the case with our characters, which really brings the question, why is Nathanos alive? Did Blizzard mess this up and not give him a ghost form? Or is something going on that we're not figuring out yet? I mean, where was he all these years? What was this guy doing? Keep in mind, there was a 5-year time skip between Shadowlands and Dragonfight as well, so it's been nearly a decade. Did Sylvanas find a way to resurrect him, or did he even die? As who knows? I mean, this guy is undead. They have kind of different living conditions. Maybe he survived that duel, which is why he might have been stuck on Azeroth, why we never saw him in the Shadowlands. But then again, Tyrande did taunt Sylvanas with Nathanos back in the Shadowlands in that duel they did. Even weirder is that this guy actually has no voice lines, no dialogue, no nothing. He's just creeping behind the rock. This guy was kind of a weird character to begin with. I mean, first he was seen as a simp, now as a stalker. However, I'm guessing since Blizzard obviously purposefully added him here, it's that the storyline is probably going to be developed further. It's not really just an Easter egg, because if it was an Easter egg, we'll probably discover some amulet, item, note, or something just mentioning him. We wouldn't see him in his full form. This entire questline though was obviously an introduction to the future story of Sylvanas. As you can see, her return is all but confirmed at some point in time, and with the Shadowlands being fake and all that, this crazy cosmological stuff happening in the background, even her crimes are not as bad as we originally thought they were. So I'm certain that when she returns at some point, and personally I expect it to probably happen around the end of midnight, we might also see the return of Nathanos, and I'm hoping they can explain what is going on. Is he actually alive, and what has he been doing this entire decade? The return of Sylvanas herself will either be tied to the Forsaken or the Blood Elves in the big Elven reunion that is coming. As we know, both will be relevant by the end of this expansion. Blizzard has confirmed the relevance of the Forsaken in this expansion and that we will visit them, but they won't be as big as the Elves. Furthermore, Elves are really rebuilding everything now with the new Sunwell and everything. And remember, Sylvanas was just a Ranger General that fell defending her kingdom, and then she kinda fell into this entire mess. We know the Wind and Under sisters are a big part of this expansion as well, so it will be interesting to see how it turns out. I don't think she's returning as the new Ranger General of the Elves or the new Old Ruler of the Forsaken, so only time will tell what is really going on. Thanks for watching. Check out how a lot of players find the War Within and the Dark Heart ending disappointing by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on Titan lore and Greek mythology that I've recorded live on site in Italy in the mountains by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time!